Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Political rivals unite in support as former President Biden reveals his prostate cancer diagnosis. The FBI now classifying the deadly Palm Springs fertility clinic explosion as terrorism, but we're learning about the 25-year-old suspect. Echoes of the Baltimore Bridge collapse as another vessel loses power and crashes into an iconic American landmark.
And I think it's safe to say it was a bit of a breezy weekend, wasn't it? And coming away again today, it's going to be another windy one before the heat turns on tomorrow. We'll talk about all that in the weather coming up.
Good morning, Crossroads. The All-Stars were out this past weekend in the Coastal Bend Coach Association All-Star Game. See which athletes and schools participated.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Maybe you're finalizing some of those vacation plans as those graduates prepare to walk across the stage.
That's right. We are getting closer and closer to graduation time. And of course, we have a little link on our website, crossroadstoday.com, where you can submit your graduates. But if you're going to have any graduations going on this weekend or later this week, I want to let y'all know the heat is here to stay. So get prepared for that and get acclimated to that. We'll look at all that later on Sunrise, because first things first, we're starting out the day already quite warm out there, 78 degrees in Victoria to be exact. Dew point still at that whopping 75 degrees, bringing that humidity to 90% this morning, which is technically not enough to see fog, but looking at your camera, we could see you do have we're talking a very light layer. You probably wouldn't even notice it, of fog this morning. We're talking so light, the visibility map can barely even pick it up this morning, because right now we do have a slight breeze out there, sustained between 10 to 15 miles an hour out of the south-southeast reported this morning, but gusts have been reported as high as 20 miles an hour, and that's bringing us a little bit of mixing in the air. So don't need to worry about fog, but that is definitely bringing us some warm temperatures with air right out of the Gulf. Everybody's looking at temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s right now. So if you're headed out the door, don't need a jacket, but make sure to stay hydrated, because we're looking for another hot and kind of windy day with heat indices as high as 101 to 105. All those details coming up next.
Former President Joe Biden's personal office released a statement Sunday saying that the prostate cancer has metastasized to the bone, which is a more aggressive form of the disease. Biden, who is 82 years old, was diagnosed on Friday after experiencing urinary symptoms. A source familiar with Biden and his family tell news sources the former president and family are meeting with doctors, and they're considering multiple treatment options, including hormone treatment. We'll have more on this story later on Sunrise. The FBI says Saturday's bombing outside a Palm Springs fertility clinic was an act of terrorism. 4 people were injured in the explosion. Authorities say the suspect, 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkus, was killed in the blast. 2 law enforcement officials briefed on the incident tell news sources he was driven by an anti-natalist ideology, a belief that no one should have children. The FBI says it appears he tried to live stream the blast. New details are emerging after a dramatic and deadly incident involving a Mexican Navy vessel that slammed into the Brooklyn Bridge over the weekend.
Oh my God! This morning, investigators are expected to board the Mexican Navy ship that slammed into the Brooklyn Bridge Saturday as new images emerge of the moments before the collision. 2 crew members were killed, 22 other people injured. And now new video shows the crew members earlier climbing the giant mast of the tall ship, which serves as an ambassador for Mexican culture. It was on a goodwill tour, leaving New York Harbor when it struck the bridge, causing the 3 masts to snap. Sailors on the ship traditionally climb the mast when leaving or entering a port. The display is seen in this picture from last year. At the moment of Saturday's collision, sailors appeared to be on the highest part of the mast.
Someone was dangling from the top. They were trying to pull him up. There was a bunch of people up top.
Ariane and Allie got a closer look at the damage.
We are just feet away from the ship, and at the top, you can see those snapped masts that hit the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge. Up there right now, you can also see people in harnesses.
277 people were on board. A female cadet was among the 2 killed. Her family gathering in Mexico yesterday. One relative saying there must be someone responsible. The NYPD says the ship never intended to sail beneath the bridge, but it lost power. The tides then forced the ship in the wrong direction, hitting the 141-year-old bridge while traveling backwards. Officials say the structural integrity of the bridge is still intact.
This is a tough bridge. It was overbuilt from the very beginning and it's withstood an awful lot. So tangling with a wooden ship is not really going to best the bridge.
The collision recalling memories of the Baltimore Bridge collapse last year when a cargo ship that had lost power slammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, killing 6 construction workers.
The NTSB is now investigating Saturday's crash, working with the Mexican government. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time now, looking at our clock, it is 6:35 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. We learn about a teenager that's been missing since Wednesday. We have the details.
Former President Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with details and the reaction now pouring in from around the globe.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, like you heard me say earlier, it'll be another breezy day coming our way today before it gets hot tomorrow. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how windy I think it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. Starting out this week looking live in Cuero, already nice and warm out there, 79 degrees to start out the day on your Monday. Dew point, though, 4 degrees off at that high 75, still bringing us high humidity of 87%. But like I've been saying all morning, don't really need to worry about fog. If you see any, you can see it right here. It's going to be very, very, very light because right now we do have that slightly breezy wind that's with us that will be picking up for the rest of the day. And you're going to actually see that right here. Here are your future wind gusts for this morning. The morning time gusting up to 20 to 25 at times, but I think they're going to pick up to about 35 to 40 miles an hour at times this afternoon, whereas the computer high-res model thinks that it's going to be up to about 30 to 35 at times, but I'm thinking up to 40 at times. So if you have any lightweight items outside, make sure to secure that to the ground and also be careful driving because that wind can toss your car on the roads for sure. But underneath the southerly winds coming out of the Gulf and also decreasing cloud cover. It's a little bit cloudy right now. You just saw on the Cuero camera. Going to be mostly sunny, partly cloudy in the afternoon time. Going to bring us another warm day. Already looking at upper 80s, near 90 flat at noontime, but in the afternoon, looking generally low 90s for most of us today. Unless you're in the western counties, y'all might see mid 90s for this afternoon. Thinking 91 Victoria and 92 in Cuero. Overnight tonight, we'll drop our lows down to the upper 70s like what we're seeing right now. And tomorrow, it's an even hotter day with western counties possibly in the low 100s. Everybody else seeing mid and upper 90s. But in the background, it's still humid out there, so we're looking for heated to seas as high as 102 to 105 for most today. Picking up tomorrow, so make sure to stay hydrated and do that for the rest of this week because your 7 days looking hot with highs in the low 90s. All that and more coming up next.
The Coastal Bend Coach Association had their All-Star games this past weekend, and up first was their All-Star volleyball game. This game was an East and West format to which the West team won. We had 2 Crossroad teams compete for the West team. Cuero's own Arissa Carbonera and Calhoun's own Kendall Vargas were on the winning team. This same association had their All-Star football game. This game featured East versus West format. The East team won in a comeback victory. Final score 28-21. The East had 3 players from Calhoun and 3 from Cal in Refugio, and the likes of Jordan King and Keelan Brown from Refugio, and Calhoun had Fisher Frank and Derek Salinas, and many more schools from the Crossroads were deep in this game. I'm talking Goliad, Cuero, Victoria East, Victoria West, St. Joseph even had a player participate. Big congratulations to all these players. Make sure you go onto their website, the Coastal Bend Coach Association, to find out more information regarding their MVPs. But that does it for your sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV or Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. This morning, support pouring in for former President Joe Biden following the news of his prostate cancer diagnosis.
This morning, reaction pouring in for former President Biden after he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. A spokesperson for the 82-year-old says the diagnosis comes after a small nodule was found in the former president's prostate. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9.
A Gleason 9 prostate cancer is more aggressive, which means that it can grow more quickly and can be more likely to spread.
Mr. Biden's spokesperson says while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. And this morning, an outpouring of support from across the globe. President Trump posting on social media, quote, "Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family." Former President Obama praised former President Joe Biden's work on supporting research for cancer treatment, saying, quote, "Nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe, and I'm certain he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace." And former British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak sharing on social media saying, quote, "Too many men are struck by this disease. We must continue to raise awareness of the danger it poses. Wishing Joe all the best for his treatment." President Biden launched his cancer moonshot in 2022 after his son Beau died from brain cancer 10 years ago this month. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and the second leading cause of cancer death among men in the U.S., according to the National Institutes of Health.
Which means that there is an opportunity for an additional form of treatment which can improve his outcome.
Biden has mostly stayed out of public view since leaving office in January, but he did appear on The View earlier this month. Sources say Biden spent the weekend at home in Delaware reviewing treatment options with his family. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code. It's right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, should public officials disclose more details about their health conditions? All right, let's take a look. 40% of you say yes, complete transparency is needed. 60% of you say only when it affects their ability to serve. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Corpus Christi police are asking for your help in locating a missing teenager. 18-year-old Nicole Guest was last seen around 4:45 Wednesday morning. She was wearing a black hoodie and black pants at the time. Nicole is approximately 5 feet tall, weighs around 130 pounds, has brown hair and green eyes. Authorities say she was diagnosed with autism and may require assistance. If you've seen Nicole or have any information that could help locate her, call 911 or contact the Corpus Christi Police Department's non-emergency line at 361-886-2600. Caps are flying and futures are calling. We're giving a big shout out to the class of 2025 as they gear up for their big day. Congratulations to Caitlin Nicole Huerta. Congratulations on all your accomplishments, Kay. Never stop shooting for the stars. Love Dad, Luisa, Sissy, and Bubba. Congratulations to Chris Eric Hernandez. Your family is so proud of you. Love from Mom, Dad, Ava, Dylan, and Cameron. And congratulations to James Potts. James, your whole family is so proud of you. From reading to writing Braille to your wonderful social butterfly personality, we adore you. We're blessed to call you ours. Love from Mom, Dad, and family. Now through June 13th, you can submit a photo and a heartfelt message for your graduate. We'll be featuring local grads on air and across social media as our way of celebrating the class of 2025 with you. Just go to crossroadstoday.com, click on the entertainment tab, select contest to upload your tribute and share your pride. The time is now 6:45 on our Monday morning, still to come on Sunrise. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We take a look at a condition that affects more people than most realize. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Frank. Happy birthday, Dad. Hope it's a great day full of happiness. We all love you.
Oh, happy birthday, Frank. And also happy 9th birthday to Big Daddy. We love you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Lots of love from Dad, Mom, and Jay Lee.
Love that look.
I love it too.
Happy birthday to Lainey Wilson. The country singer turns 33 today.
Happy birthday, Lainey Wilson. I know that she is a real person. And to see your birthday wish live.
Big Daddy is real too, Parker.
Okay, well, happy birthday, Mr. Big Daddy. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, just head over to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
Okay, the time is now 6:46 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you celebrated over the weekend.
That's right, over the weekend. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw that 7-day forecast a few moments ago, and you saw the heat continuing for us. And I know it's been a little bit of a hot one last week, and I'm actually going to say it was only very warm. I'm not going to say hot because I think hot is 95 degrees and above. In fact, looking at yesterday's almanac, we got up to a high of 90. That was reported at the airport in eastern Victoria County where there's more grass. And Victoria City, we actually got up to 92 degrees. That was reported, which is about 5 degrees above our average this time of year and about 4 or 5 degrees below our record set way back in 1939. And it's a good thing we were not that hot yesterday because we would probably see heat indices above 110. But all that's going to lead you to today's weather poll. Today I ask you, how hot has it felt to you this past week? Because I think low 90s is very warm, but majority of y'all are thinking that is hot at 80% of the vote. So thank y'all so much for taking part in today's weather poll. For future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather to participate, and I will always read those answers on Sunrise. But a little bit warm yesterday, and like I said, the heat will continue. But something else that will continue today, like I was saying earlier, the winds, they're going to be a little bit breezy today. Here yesterday's max reported wind gust. This is actually wrong. The highest wind gust in Victoria County was 35 miles an hour, and probably a little bit higher in the city due to a little bit more friction, causing higher fluctuations and pressure changes. All that's really kind of deep weather stuff you don't have to know about, of course, but the winds are going to be a little bit breezy again today because we're going to have a low pressure system come off the mountains and around the Kansas-Oklahoma area, which will bring them a good hefty amount of severe weather. Look at all of those monster thunderstorms that are going to be traveling through the area today, which they have a level 4 out of 5. Moderate risk for severe weather, bullseye over the Oklahoma area. So if you have any family or friends over there, let them know that they have some nasty weather likely coming their way real soon. But we have some different kind of nasty weather coming our way, folks, so get used to it. Looking for highs sticking to the low 90s, getting a little bit hotter for tomorrow, Tuesday, which tomorrow will likely be the hottest day of the week. And we'll have more on that coming up next.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're taking a closer look at obsessive compulsive disorder. Often misunderstood and misrepresented, OCD affects millions of people in deeply personal and sometimes invisible ways.
Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm so OCD"? A phrase referring to obsessive compulsive disorder, the mental health condition often mischaracterized and misunderstood.
A lot of people mistake OCD for orderliness, and that's really not what it is.
Dr. Sanjay Saxena, Director of Clinical and Research Affairs at the International OCD Foundation, says the most common misconception is that it's just a personality trait or quirk.
OCD, as compared to those personality traits, is not helpful. And in fact, it can be really torturous at times.
OCD can really significantly impact your quality of life, as it did, mine and my family's.
Brooke Miller first started showing signs around age 8.
My symptoms came in the form of primarily folding my dirty laundry before I placed it in the hamper. And these were attached to fears that if I didn't do these things or didn't engage in these behaviors, something bad would happen.
Miller is not alone. According to the International OCD Foundation, approximately 8.2 million adults in the United States have OCD or will develop it at some point in their lives.
It's actually a pretty serious and potentially debilitating psychiatric disorder that's characterized by repetitive, intrusive, and very distressing thoughts, fears, even images.
Dr. Saxena says these compulsions can affect people's social life, work, school, and even physical health.
Compulsions are behaviors, either overt behaviors like checking, washing, repeating, or covert ones, mentally replacing a bad thought with a good thought, or reassuring oneself, or counting.
Tom Smalley was diagnosed with OCD in high school, and his compulsions were taking up 12 to 14 hours a day.
Before I got my diagnosis, I felt so alone.
Smalley says, unlike what is portrayed in media, people with OCD do not enjoy their compulsion.
Right, they're stressed by them. It's like a trap. And it could be anything as like picking my phone up, putting it down, brushing my teeth. Like I'd brush my teeth and my gums were like absolutely bleeding.
Experts say breaking free from those cycles takes time, support, and often therapy.
We have gotten to a point in our lives where we're able to live by our values and not what our OCD drives. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm cured, because I'm not. This is probably going to be something that I struggle with for the rest of my life, but I have gotten my life back.
Phil Lipoff, ABC News, New York.
This news to know before you go. Several officers shot while responding to what started as a suspicious person call. Multiple officers were shot in Illinois on Saturday while responding to a house call. Officers responded to a residence on Potomac Drive in Fairview Heights for a suspicious individual prowling around a nearby home. At the scene, officers made contact with the suspect and discovered it was a domestic situation. During the encounter, the suspect opened fire, striking 3 of the officers. One officer was shot in the face and underwent surgery. That officer is currently in critical but stable condition. 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, were seriously injured Sunday after being hit by a vehicle while being walked home in a shopping basket along East Bowling Highway. Both were airlifted to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston for specialized care. The driver stayed at the scene and has been identified. Police are still investigating, gathering evidence, and speaking with witnesses. Victoria County Commissioners meet at 10 this morning. They'll hear an introduction of the Victoria County 360 Citizens Education Program. They'll also consider authorizing the use of at least $1.1 million for improvements to the Victoria Regional Airport Terminal parking lot. They'll meet at room 241 on the 2nd floor of 115 North Bridge Street. Victoria City Council members are set to meet at 5 p.m. Tuesday. They'll consider approving the purchase of 9 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor utility vehicles projected to cost at least $600,000. They'll also consider approving the purchase of 4 Braun Ford F-450 Type 1 ambulances costing at least $1.8 million. City Manager Jesus A. Garza will give an annual comprehensive financial report as well. And we want to invite y'all to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV, through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at that Port Lavaca sunrise with Parker. How's it looking out there?
Well, for one thing, it's looking real cloudy out there this morning for sure. I mean, I can guarantee you that. The second you step up the door, you're probably going to notice that. Look alive just at that in Port Lavaca. Lots of clouds over us this morning, which will be on the decrease today. I can promise you that. We'll look at that here after this, because I want to let you know we're starting out the day nice and warm. 81 degrees in Port Lavaca. Everybody else is in the upper 70s and low 80s as well. But look at this. The dew point is still at a whopping high 78 degrees. If you attended with me last week, I was telling y'all that the all-time highest record dew point recorded in Corpus Christi was 83 degrees. So very humid out there this morning. So apply some hairspray and keep it on you today, because we're going to stay a little bit humid with heat indices reaching as high as 102 to 105 for some. So stay hydrated. Looking for a high of 89 at Port Lavaca. Underneath, breezy winds gusting up to 30 to 35 at times on the coast. Inland counties, gusts will be up to 40, I'm thinking, at times. So make sure to be careful with that. High of 91 in Victoria, so a little bit warmer. And I'm thinking a tad bit hotter than that in Cuero. I'm thinking 92. But go ahead and get used to that little warm, low 90s high temperature, because the next several days will look a little bit warm. Highs sticking to the low 90s, some in the mid 90s, with tomorrow, Tuesday, being the hottest day of the week. Some are going to be in the low 100s.
All right, well, thank you, Parker, and thank y'all for joining us this morning. Be sure to join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a Monday.